So the president and his family scammed 1 million people and profited
and put this country in a worse position as a result of it.
$600 billion,
not
including the amount that they have earned from the sale of their crypto company, which was really only created knowing that this presidency was coming up. What's the recourse then? What do you think it should be?
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So this one is a real showdown, and you're going to want to stick around for it. We've got a panel absolutely at war over the president's sudden crypto obsession, with Xochitl Hinojosa, who actually worked at the Justice Department, going head-to-head with the people trying to defend the whole thing. On one side, you've got Abby and Ryan Grimm laying out the money trail, the pardons, the meme coins, and that unsettling Iran connection. On the other side, Jason Rance and Pete Seat are trying to hold the line, but even they can't quite agree on how to spin it. Trust me, the further this goes, the more the defenses start to crack. So make sure you watch all the way through, because the strongest moment comes when you least expect it. And while you're here, drop a comment and let me know exactly where in the world you're tuning in from. I genuinely love seeing how far this channel reaches. Alright, enough from me, let's get into it.
Today, he took it a step further with this brag about crypto corruption investigations.
They were putting people in jail. What they were doing to the crypto was horrible. It's amazing it survived that onslaught. It was a weaponization of government. So now I'm killing Biden, I'm winning by so much, and all of a sudden he becomes totally pro-crypto. They dropped all investigations of everybody. They allowed people to come out of jail, and every time I see a crypto guy where they dropped an investigation, I said, you're lucky I'm president.
He's bragging there about a lot of people who are tied to crypto, who he has already pardoned. He's only been in office for a year. Perhaps the biggest one is the founder of Binance, known as CZ. That company now is actually very involved in a lot of different things. But one of the pieces of reporting over the last several months, according to the Journal and the New York Times, is that Binance still now looks like they've allowed money to go to Iran through their platforms. So the president is bragging about this turnabout when he's profiting, but also some of these people were put in prison for real reasons, and now they seem to not have changed their tune.
Well, I think the president has changed his tune on cryptocurrency, right? There's no doubt about that. He was very much against it, calling it a scam, and he has switched. Part of the context behind that is that he believes that not embracing cryptocurrency gives China a leg up on this. We can debate whether or not that's accurate. I think it's probably more accurate than not. But I think his comment, I didn't necessarily take it as bragging that we're releasing criminals from jail. I think it was more the allegation that the Biden administration was overtly tough on cryptocurrency when we didn't actually have very many standards or laws in place. We have the Clarity Act right now that we can have a large debate as to whether or not we have to put in place some more restrictions and oversight, which I think we absolutely do. But I think that was the context in the greater scheme of the conversation he was having today.
No, President Trump is very clear. He has benefited off crypto, 100%. And while we have seen that most Americans, 1 million Americans, have not, I was at the Justice Department when we brought the charges against Binance and the CEO. Not only did we bring charges, but they pled guilty. We were not weaponizing anything. They pled guilty to charges, including paying $4 billion. And exactly what Abby just described here about using the platform for potentially funding Iran is exactly what we were worried about, and exactly how they could not say how they were going to crack down on that. And there's also anti-money laundering allegations, et cetera. And so the problems that the Justice Department, the federal government felt that were not in the U.S. interest and that broke our federal laws are actually now playing out before Donald Trump's eyes because he is the one who pardoned them.
This is the part that gets me right out of the gate, because when you hear someone frame a criminal prosecution as a political witch hunt, you have to stop and ask one simple question. What did the company actually do? And Xochitl Hinojosa answers it perfectly, because she was in the room. Xochitl said this: not only do we bring charges, but they pled guilty. We were not weaponizing anything. Let that sink in. You cannot weaponize a guilty plea. A company does not hand over billions of dollars and admit wrongdoing because a prosecutor was being mean to them. They do it because they got CY anyway, caught. And here's what people don't realize. The defense you keep hearing is that all of this was about staying ahead of China. Jason Rantz leans on that. The idea that not embracing this technology gives China a leg up. And I understand the appeal. It sounds patriotic, it sounds strategic, but it completely dodges the actual issue on the table. Nobody was prosecuted for competing with China. They were prosecuted for what Abby laid out, that this platform looked like it let money flow through channels it never should have touched. You have to understand how convenient that framing is. You take a genuine national security concern and you rebrand the people responsible as victims. That is not a defense. That is a magic trick. And the moment you realize the person now praising these pardons is the same one who signed them, the whole thing stops looking like justice.
And I think also it's an incomplete story, that the whole China thing. This is from 2025 in the AP. Trump began to shift during a crypto event at Mar-a-Lago in Florida in May of 2024, receiving assurances that industry backers would spend lavishly to get him reelected. Another major milestone came last June when Trump attended a high-dollar fundraiser at the San Francisco home of David Sacks. Those close to Trump, including his sons and billionaire Elon Musk, helped further push his embrace of the industry. Sacks is now in the Trump administration as his crypto czar. And I also would add that some of these pardons that we were just talking about, the path to the pardon also involves money for Trump's political ambitions. So there's the private money that they're making hand over fist on crypto, and it's not like investing in crypto companies. It's literally meme coins, which are meaningless. And then there's also the political money at the same time as well.
I'm a big defender of the presidential pardon power, mostly because a lot of people don't realize there is essentially no lever. I mean, you probably know very well. There's no lever at the federal level to, serve as a check on overzealous prosecutions, but he makes it very difficult to defend. And I understand why a lot of people want reform. I mean, just about crypto broadly, according to his most recent financial report, he's executed about 4,000 trades in 3 months, including with companies that really want to stay in his good graces. I don't understand how that couldn't be a conflict of interest.
I mean, how is it not, Pete?
Look, I'm going to be very clear where I stand on crypto. I've said it here before, but being pro-crypto is being anti-American. If we are in competition with China, we should stay as far away from crypto as possible. If we want our currency, the US dollar, to remain the reserve currency of the world, we need to get out of crypto. If we want to maintain sanction power, we need to get out of crypto.
Now, this is where it stops being about policy and starts being about money, plain and simple. Because Abby drops a detail that should make everybody sit up. She points out that David Sacks, one of the industry figures tied to all of this, is now sitting inside the administration as the crypto czar. Sit with that arrangement for 1 second. The people who benefit from these decisions are the same people helping make them. That is not a coincidence. That is a pipeline. And it gets sharper. Abby also makes a point that cuts right through the noise. She says these are not real companies. They are literally meme coins, and they are meaningless. Thank you. Somebody finally said it. Because there is a massive difference between building actual technology and slapping a name on a digital token that exists purely so insiders can cash out before everyone else figures out the joke. Here's the part that blows my mind though. Even the person defending all this cannot fully do it. Ryan Grimm, who openly supports the broad power at play here, admits it plainly. He says it is made very difficult to defend. When your own ally is telling you the behavior is indefensible, the argument is already over. You have lost. And then Pete Seat says the thing nobody on that side wants to hear. Pete says being pro this stuff is being anti-American. Because if you actually care about the strength of the dollar, you cannot cheer for the very thing that quietly weakens it. That is not an insult. That is a warning most people are choosing to ignore.
As we've been talking about, terrorists, criminals, what do? They use crypto. That's how they operate. Why would we want anyone to be a part of this? And I feel sorry for none of these million people who lost money. They fell for a scam. Crypto is a scam from top to bottom. The way it works is the people who buy the crypto realize it's a scam and then say, crap, I need to tell everyone to get in so I can make my money back. And those suckers
acknowledging that this is a scam?
Yes.
That was predicated by the president of the United States?
It's a scam predicated by a lot of people who get into this business.
The number one person is the president.
They decided to get in because you make a boatload of money on the transaction side of it.
Yeah, that's the president and his family.
Yeah, and they made money, as Jason acknowledged. They made money.
I'm just
There's
wondering,
no denying or dismissing
what's the next step from that? So the president and his family scammed 1 million people, and profited
And put this country in a
profited to
worse
the tune
position
of
as a result of it.
$600 billion,
Thank you. We
not
agree on more
including
than I actually thought.
not including the amount that they have earned from the sale of their crypto company, which was really only created knowing that this presidency was coming up. What's the recourse then? What do you think it should be?
Well, the recourse is if Congress feels there should be a recourse, then they should put some laws into place. We should have regulations in place. We don't actually know what crypto is right now. Is it a currency? Is it a security? Is it a commodity? Is it a collectible? And if you don't know what it is, why are you investing in it in any way, shape, or form? So the government needs to figure that out.
I think there might be a generational divide on crypto. I have a lot of people in my friend group that are much more comfortable with it. I think that we can have conversations about Clarity Act and regulating it. I don't think we should just delete it just because the president doesn't know how to operate with it.
And here is where it all lands. Pete Seat does not soften it. He does not hedge. He calls it a scam from top to bottom. And whether or not you agree with every single word, you have to respect that he is willing to say out loud what a lot of people only whisper. Because the mechanics he is describing are as old as greed itself. Somebody creates something with no real value, convinces enough people it is the next big thing, and then quietly steps back while the ordinary person is left holding nothing. Let me break down why this matters. Because history has seen this exact pattern before. Back in the early 1920s, there was a scandal called Teapot Dome, where officials inside a presidential administration handed valuable public oil reserves to private businessmen in exchange for personal kickbacks. It became one of the most documented corruption cases in American history, and it left the country a permanent lesson. When the people in power personally profit from the decisions they make, the public always pays for it in the end. That is not ancient theory. That is a blueprint we keep watching repeat. And that is why Abby's closing point hits so hard. She says 1 million people got scammed, that families got put in a terrible position, and that a company was created only because a certain outcome was already on the way. That is the whole story in one sentence. This was not innovation. This was timing and access and profit, dressed up as the future. And Pete Seat finishes with the question that should end every debate on this. He points out that we do not even know what this thing is. Is it a currency, a security, a commodity? And if you cannot answer that, why is anyone pouring their money into it at all? Exactly. When the smartest people in the room cannot define the product, the only ones winning are the ones selling it. And that is the part you should never forget. So what do you guys think of this? Leave your thoughts down in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.